Welcome to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Roling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? How was your week? Did you set up your week in such so that you feel confident going into this weekend, that the tasks and priorities that you worked on aligned with moving and making progress towards goals? I hope so. And if not, this is what we're going to be talking about today. We are talking about impatience today. Now, most of the time, impatience is considered to be something that we solve for, something that is not good. Trust me, for decades, every single year, at least one of my intentions or resolutions was that of being more patient, in less of a rush. So I get it. I get working on this one. And for the sake of conversation today, I'm talking about the patience as it relates to your goals, your purpose, your mission. I'm not talking about the patience that you have with other people or your husband or your children or your colleagues. I'm talking about patience as it relates to your goals and your dreams and your desires. And for my leaders out there, for my entrepreneurial friends, those of you that run businesses, lead a team, this episode is for you. I'm going to flip this personal development topic on its head just a bit today. So I'm really excited to have you with me. I'm going to talk first about why we tend to be impatient and what characteristics are required for patience and why we might consider a little bit more impatience in our life. But I'm going to save that for the end. So let's talk about why we're impatient. Okay. The first reason why I think that we're impatient is because we think that the result, whatever the outcome we're looking for, will give us the belief. We think that if we accomplish that goal, lose that weight, write that book, have X amount of money in the bank, sign a certain number of clients, get that promotion, that we can believe that we are capable, confident, worthy. Friends, we have this wrong. We have it backwards. We need to have the belief in order to get the result that we want. We need to believe that we're capable, that we will figure it out in order to lose the weight, have the money in the bank, get the promotion, not the other way around. Our results will never, ever, 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 ever exceed our belief. That is why no matter what your goals are, no matter what you want in your life, you have to have a believable belief. And if you don't, you need to find someone to borrow it from. And I give you permission to believe in you, to believe in your capabilities, to believe in your purpose. And trust me, I didn't always believe in me, and some days are harder than others. I had contemplated being a coach for years, decades, and I never did. I had fears, doubts in my ability to make the kind of money that would replace my corporate job, not just in salary, but in benefits and retirement and expense accounts and et cetera, all the perks. I did not think that I knew enough. I thought once I get one more certification, then I will know enough. One more certification, my friends, turned into 10. Even at 10, it wasn't enough. It wasn't about how many certifications would be enough for me to actually believe the time was right. It was my belief in me. Before my mom died, she challenged me on this. Leah, she would say, how many certifications do you think you need in order to pursue your dream of being a coach and doing this full time? And I answered with the same nonsense that I always did. I'm not sure, Mom. I just want to make sure that I have a huge toolkit, that I know frameworks and strategies in an attempt to help and support people solve for their problems. I'm just not sure now is the right time. I also said, plus, this was my go-to when anybody asked me what I did and if I liked what I did. I don't love my job, but it does allow me to do what I love. You see, I coached on the side. I was a weight loss coach, a marathon coach, an executive coach. And I told myself, this is what I told myself, that if I did it full time, I might not love it as much. Just lies, excuses to give me permission to stay in a job I hated. If I didn't go all in with coaching, then I really didn't fail, right? I knew she always believed in me. I knew she would always support me in my desire to do what I thought was responsible. Stay in a job that pays the bills, supports the family, afford a lifestyle that we had all really become accustomed to. Seems super responsible. So I played small. I knew it. She knew it. And yet there was one conversation that we had that literally changed everything. And I'm offering it to you today because it was super impactful. She basically said that life is short. We know this to be true. But in that moment, I knew it to be the truest truth ever. Here's her always giving me advice as her life was coming to an end. She basically said, I will love you no matter what you do. Will you? Will you love you no matter what you do? If yes, continue doing what you're doing. And if not, Leah, it's your time to matter. It's your time to pursue your dreams without permission, without people pleasing, without an invitation. What is loving to you? What is honoring to you? Is staying in a job that you hate under the guise of being able to do what you love once in a while loving? What was the reason for getting all the certifications if you're just going to continue to not use them? Will this be scary? Yes. Will it be worth it? Yes. Do it for you. And if not for you, do it for me. And if not for me, do it for the world. This is bigger than you, Leah. My mom passed 2 years ago, and every day since, I have borrowed her belief in me. It is the belief that creates the results. So borrow the belief that I have in you to follow your dreams, to accomplish that goal, to do something scary, to have the courage to live your life your way. What would you have to believe in order to get the results in your life? I had to believe that I did not know enough, that I could help, support, hold space, love my clients to a new reality for themselves. I had to believe that I had the tools that would transform their life in a way that had transformed mine. I had to believe that I was enough, that my dreams mattered, that I mattered. What do you have to believe? Can you believe it? And if you can't, can you borrow my belief until you can believe it for yourself? So that is the first reason that we are impatient. We think that the result will create the belief. And when it doesn't, we either make excuses or we quit. Number 2 is we're not happy where we are. And this kind of piggybacks on the first one, because as you know, our thoughts create our feelings. We believe that when we get this outcome that we want, accomplishing that goal, make that sale, get married, lose that weight, have kids, quit that job, start that job, quit that marriage, that we will be happy. We believe that our results are the reason we feel accomplished and confident and happy. And we forget that's not how it works. It is not the result or the outcome that creates our feelings. It's our mind, it's our thoughts. I promise you this is true. Is it true that our results can make us happy? Yes, but only by way of what you think about the results. We need the belief to create the feelings of enoughness, worthiness, confidence, because we take action based on what we feel. And there's no result without action. I can't just believe that I should be a coach and not do anything about it. I need to fuel my action with confidence, capabilities, and an identity of worth, and an identity of failure tolerance, an identity of self-knowing. I need to feel confident in order to quit my job and start up a coaching business. I need to feel capable to figure out how to write a book. So the best way to reverse engineer this for yourself is to think about how you would feel once you had the thing that you wanted. Think about it. How would you feel if you lost the weight you wanted? How would you feel if you published that book and it shows up on your doorstep? How would you feel about signing it, giving it to the world? How would you feel if you found your significant other? How would you feel if you landed that big contract, got that promotion, launched that new product? How would you feel? Is the feeling that you need to generate now in order to get that result. You understand? Whatever that feeling is, if it's confidence, if it's accomplished, if it's happy, if it's joy, if it's excitement, if it's motivation, if it's momentum, that is the feeling that you need driving the action to get the result that you want. Number 3 reason that I feel like we're impatient is because we have time scarcity. We forget that time just is, and whether we have enough of it is a thought. We believe that it should happen quicker than it is, based on some perspective, some comparison, some judgment. We look to others to dictate what it should look like, and then we compare where they are to where we are. And we use that as proof that we're not capable, that this isn't working the way that we had hoped, that this was never going to work. And when we do that, we quit and we make excuses for ourselves. And when we do that, we lack 2 things: self-trust and perspective. And again, these all kind of seem similar. Self-trust, the ability to believe in our capabilities, to believe that goals and dreams are possible. Self-trust is faith in our competencies and our commitments to make progress on our goal. When we lack trust in ourselves, we tend to lose faith in our ability to figure it out, to persevere, to follow through. Self-trust comes from knowing who you are, what matters to you, and what you want. It's also perspective, your mindset, how you see the world. If you believe that there's not enough time, we become impatient. If we believe that it should be going faster than it is, we become impatient. And when we have thoughts of lack, not enough, we will no doubt create more impatience for ourselves. And this impatience creates more lack. And this is a very vicious cycle. So obviously, it is important to have patience with our goals, with other people, with ourselves. But I want to spend the rest of our time to talk about the possibility that we have become too patient. Yes, that's a thing. I think for me, when I was trying to solve for my impatient problem, wanting things faster than I would have liked, discouraged in the discovery of new ideas and new hows and new ways to think, I sold myself short on the goals that I had. I played small. I would set my goals very realistically as like in a goal that I knew I could accomplish, goals that I knew the exact path to complete, goals that did not challenge me to think any different. They didn't challenge me to explore a different way of doing things. They didn't discourage me in any sort of way. They were not uncomfortable. They were goals that I could patiently do because I knew the outcome. I had a level of self-trust because I had done them before. I had belief that it was possible. I mean, a realistic goal, if we think about it, means that it's rooted in reality, it means it's been done before. And we have perspective by way of the plan to get it done. We know the exact how because it is the exact same how that we used to accomplish it before. And there's no doubt a time difference between doing something you know you can do, something that you have done before, something that is realistic, than to do something that you haven't, that you don't have a blueprint for, that you are not necessarily sure of which how will work, that we might need to test and to try different ideas, that we might need to think about differently. This will no doubt take more time and no doubt create a sense of impatience in the not knowing, but it is required. It is required for us to accomplish bigger goals that we don't even have business believing in because they've never happened yet. These are the goals that I want us to be pursuing. But let's just think about the definition of impatience for just a minute. Impatience is an energy surge driven by underlying emotions. It's also, impatience is when it seems like something isn't happening fast enough. So let's break these two down. If we have an underlying energy surge of frustration and resentment and self-doubt feeding the impatience, we will most likely give up, make excuses, tolerate less, and spin and overwhelm. This is obviously not the goal, okay? However, if we have an underlying energy of curiosity, of conviction, of determination, feeding that impatience, we challenge ourselves to explore possibilities bound to a purpose, something bigger than ourselves in a way that is exciting. This impatience creates a sense of urgency because what we are doing matters. Our goals matter. Life is short. Especially these big ones matter because these are the ones that are scary. They require some fear tolerance because deep down, those are the goals that we want. Those are the goals that we need to work towards. And I think for so many of us, for far too long, have been just going through the motions of the day, setting realistic goals for the sake of comfort and ease and patience so we can check mark off our goals and our tasks, cross them off the list, robotically, just going through the motions of the day. What has that produced? Anything really new? Anything really special? Anything magical? Anything worthwhile? If we embrace this impatience that is fueled by curiosity and confidence, would we start living our life again? Why should we be impatient? Because life is short. Because you have dreams and goals that you need to explore and pursue now, right now, like today. Let's be done being patient about what might be a good time to write that book, start that course, make that call, ask for that promotion. Let's be done being patient in an effort not to fail, not to be embarrassed, not to feel frustrated, not to be let down. Let's instead impatiently persist and fail quickly for the learning that happens on the other side of failure. The reason, I believe, the only reason we have not done what we want. What we really want is our fear of failing. And what if failing was the way? We don't write that book because it might not get published. Impatiently persist and fail quickly. Keep writing, adjusting, pivoting, learning about what your audience wants to hear, listening to what you want to hear. Rewrite, republish, rewrite, republish, and continue with the urgency required, because your book is not just supposed to be written, it is supposed to be read. And while publishing your book is a goal, and a great one at that, it is way more about who you will become in writing it. Think about this. 2 people writing a book at the same time. One writes the book, first pass, published, check, done, check. The second one writes the book, first pass, rejected, second pass, rejected, third pass, rejected, 5 passes, rejected, 6th, 7th, done. Now, let's assume the second one continued tweaking, reworking, rediscovering, and not giving up. Which of these 2 learned more about who they are, became more of who it is that they have always been? Yes, the second one. Friends, yes, the goal is nice. The completion of the goal is nice. But we set the goal to see who we are, to challenge the best of who it is that we are. No goals, no growth, they say. But I will challenge that just a little bit. If we don't have stretch goals, goals that require some impatience, some discomfort, there is no real growth. There is no real growth, just more confirmed bias that we can reset the same goals and accomplish them. I think my impatience in some way has served me well, at least in some areas of my life. I think about my running career. I could have run 5Ks, and that's awesome and great, but I knew I could run 5Ks. That really wasn't a stretch for me. I didn't have to think impatiently how to do it. I knew how to train and race and compete in a 5K. So instead, I went for marathons. And when I accomplished those, I qualified for Boston. And when I accomplished that, I did 50s and 70Ks and then Leadville, a 100-mile race, not for the sake of the run, but to see who I could become. What would I have to think about? What would I have to feel? What would I have to do in order to complete and compete in that way? Impatience is an energy surge driven by underlying emotions, no doubt. And when it seems like something isn't happening fast enough, we have to understand what is the fuel motivating it. Is it from excitement and urgency and the desire to live this life because we know how short it is, or is it in frustration? The energy fueling the impatience matters, but the sense of urgency behind the impatience matters as well. Have we become too patient, too indifferent, too apathetic? This last part of the definition of impatience is when it seems like something isn't happening fast enough. When it seems like something isn't happening fast enough is a perspective that I would gladly welcome back into our culture of creation. What are we creating? What are we producing? What are we caring about? I would love a sense of impatience, a sense of urgency in our creating, in our producing of the very best of ourselves, in our producing the very best companies, in producing the very best country. Do I believe that we have become too patient? Yes. In some ways, I believe this is true. Have we become too patient in our personal development? Yes, I do. We get one life to live it, to live into the full expression of it. Would I love all of us to think this is something that isn't happening fast enough, is producing the very best version of who we are? And that doesn't come from ease and patience. It comes from failing impatiently, wanting that fail to see what's possible, challenging yourself to see what is required of you to hit that goal in the time you allotted yourself, but to never change the goal, change how you approach the goal. To my leaders out there, inspire this change, inspire the self-trust and the perspective to fuel this impatience with curiosity and conviction and determination, and to cultivate a culture of urgency and excellence by challenging your people to embrace the bigger goal, not for the sake of the bigger goal, but to see what they are capable of. And we have to start those standards with ourselves. We can't expect higher standards for standards that we're not willing to uphold. So look in your life. Where are you accepting and tolerating mediocrity? Where are you not elevating and holding yourself to a standard of excellence? Where are you just getting by to get by? Start there and demand more of yourself. Have higher expectations of what is possible for you. Thanks for being here with me, my friends. I love you all. Can you challenge yourself to think about goals so big that it's scary, that it requires a certain level of impatience? Because you're going to need to solve for the how. In order to do that, it's going to require this sense of urgency, because the completion of it is important. But it's not as important to who you're going to become for yourself, for your family, for your kids, for your life, for your legacy. And if you want help getting started, grab one of my free strategy slots and let's talk about what those bigger goals might look like for you. You can grab one of those slots at www.leahroling1l.com. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Dream big, set big goals, expect more for you, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Roling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahroling.com.